this week at Dreamworld, experiencing the full train circuit, and visiting the Dreamworld Country Fair event. Hello everyone, welcome back to the YumYum Report, bringing you bite-sized updates from Australian theme parks, as well as occasional updates from theme parks around the world. Before we start, I'd like to give a special thanks to Team YumYum for supporting my content. Thank you so much. The Dreamworld Country Fair is an event that runs from the 20th of September until the 6th of October during the school holiday season. Dreamworld is transformed with street entertainment, characters, hay bales, bunting, and lots of spring-themed photo opportunities and decorations. And the event includes a few exclusive offerings that you can only experience during the Country Fair event at Dreamworld. Last year when I visited the event, I was a little bit underwhelmed and a bit of a strange day actually, so I wasn't particularly excited for this year's event. However, during the lead up, when I saw the changes that Dreamworld were making, I was immediately intrigued and could see that this event has taken on a bit of a new life, and I was very excited to come and check it out. So let's find out if the Dreamworld Country Fair is worth visiting for 2025. Arriving at the park, I was very impressed with all the photo opportunities and decorations, and I was struck with how the park had a very different atmosphere. They had really sort of transformed the vibe of Dreamworld with this event. It had a great energy. It was very busy, the school holidays have just begun, and it just had a great vibe. I really liked the new photo opportunity at the front of the park with this little truck with flowers and farm animals. Once you enter the park, there's a lot of decorations, including hay bales and flower decorations, and also bunting hanging around everywhere. The soundtrack is also slightly different with more country western style music. There's lots of roaming characters and musicians walking around dressed in country attire. There's a great photo opportunity in front of the Dreamworld flyer this year, which is really a great addition. I've always found this spot to be a perfect place to take photos or videos, so I'm glad that Dreamworld's put something here. It definitely feels like they've focused the event more around the core areas of the park that people are really walking to and from, especially the core Main Street area. There's lots to look at and do around here, and that's probably the main complaint I had in the last few years, was that the event was really spread out, and I found that because they spread themselves so thin, it kind of diluted the atmosphere of the event and made it kind of have a strange atmosphere rather than something exciting or new. So I definitely didn't have that complaint this time. During the event, Dreamworld offers a few exclusive food options, and a great way to experience that is using the food pass, which is an extremely affordable way to enjoy a lot of different treats throughout the day. It costs $35 and the value is about $55. It's really a good choice, and I highly recommend choosing this if you want to try a few different things. I found that the amount of stuff included was really great, because when you arrive at the park you can have some lunch and a drink, and then later in the afternoon you can enjoy a dessert and another drink. And everyone in my family actually got one of these passes, and we all tried lots of different foods. For lunch I went to the loaded fries stand and I tried the Nashville bites. I also got one of the dirty soda drinks, which you can find on Main Street. The drink I was a huge fan of. This was really tasty. It had Sprite, watermelon syrup, some kind of blue flavoring, and some cream as well. This was delicious. It was very refreshing and very tasty. I highly recommend getting this one. The chips, on the other hand, I wasn't overly impressed by. I did find them to be pretty heavy on the cheese, and other than the gherkins or pickles or whatever, there wasn't really much variation in flavor. It was kind of just savory incarnate, just cheese, chips, salt, and chicken. I feel like maybe if they had something a bit sweeter as well, like an onion relish or something like that, I think that would be quite nice. I appreciated having a different option to eat, but I probably wouldn't recommend this specific choice. A few members in my family are also vegan and vegetarian. Unfortunately, the loaded fries stand wasn't able to serve the vegan option. I didn't really find out why, but it was a bit of a shame that the person who wanted that particular dish wasn't able to enjoy it in my family. I also noticed there was a bit of a confusion with how the passes worked. It seemed like some of the staff weren't entirely sure how to use them and how to redeem them, and the first dish that I got, the person didn't mark that I had used that dish on my pass, which I wasn't aware of until the next stand that I went to, where the other staff member did mark it off. So that was a little bit confusing. Later in the afternoon, we enjoyed some desserts and another drink to finish off the day. I went for the apple pie loaded churros from the churro stand, which came with custard and some baked apples. This was very tasty. It was a very comforting meal and definitely captured the vibe of the country fair. And to drink, I had a chocolate milkshake from the ice cream shop. And one thing to note is in the afternoon the ice cream shop gets extremely busy, so it definitely took a very long time for the people in my family who are getting ice cream and some drinks from there. There was also a special drink option available at the ice cream shop, which is what I wanted to use my pass for, but apparently this was actually classified as a dessert option rather than a drink, so I wasn't able to enjoy this specific choice because I had already got the churros, so I just got a chocolate milkshake instead, which was still nice. But I was a little bit disappointed I wasn't able to try out the other option that I really wanted. I feel like that could have maybe been made a little bit more clear. Overall, I think the food pass is a really great value choice for your visit to the Dreamworld Country Fair. You can either purchase the pass by scanning a QR code on your phone or purchasing it directly in the Emporium gift shop. And it's quite a nice collector's item. It comes with a lanyard, and on the back you can find all the information about what options are available. It's a lot of fun and I was very impressed, although there were a few confusing parts and a couple of disappointing aspects as well. After filling myself up with cheesy fries and a tasty blue drink, it was time to digest and unwind on the Dreamworld Express, which has finally reopened again. It's only been running a partial circuit for a very long time now, during the lead up to Rivertown, and it's finally reopened. I was very excited to have this back again. It's always been a favorite. I love relaxing on here, just letting my mind wander while I look at the coasters and wildlife as I pass by. So we went for a couple of laps around on the circuit, and this was really fun. Obviously, there's not any huge changes to it. It's just the train as usual. The only difference is now it's a longer circuit. And in the absence of this full circuit, there was one question lurking in the back of my mind. How are they going to integrate this into Rivertown? What are they going to do as you pass behind the enormous Jungle Rush building? So what is the answer? Not a lot. I usually sing Dreamworld's praises quite a bit, but I do try to keep things impartial, and I was honestly a little bit disappointed that the train circuit wasn't more well integrated behind Jungle Rush. I thought maybe they would put some theming and things around so you would sort of stay immersed and there would be something interesting to look at, but this part of the circuit is pretty mundane. You're passing behind the Jungle Rush building, which is just a big green shed, and there's walls on either side of you. There's nothing to look at. Yeah, it's just a bit unfortunate. I mean, it's great to have the full train circuit back again, but yeah, I'm kind of disappointed that there wasn't more theming. I'm not sure if they've got theming on the way for this, if there's something they're gonna put behind here. There's not a lot of room though. I don't really see how they could. Now that I've actually experienced it, I thought maybe in the lead up they could have put something there, but it seems a bit tricky. I don't quite know how they're going to do it, if they will. That was just one minor gripe on the Dreamworld Express. After that part though, it's great going past Rivertown and getting to see Jungle Rush and Murrissippi Motors. There's definitely some amazing photo opportunities and video opportunities here to get footage of Jungle Rush or Murrissippi Motors in action. Unfortunately, on both of my laps, I didn't manage to get any footage of either ride actually in motion, so it's a bit of a lucky dip. You have to get the right timing. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case for me, but I did really enjoy seeing Rivertown from this perspective. Are you excited to experience the full circuit of the Dreamworld Express again? And do you think they're going to add any theming to the section behind Jungle Rush? Let me know down below in the comments. After a couple of laps on the Dreamworld Express, we made our way to one of the next offerings for the Dreamworld Country Fair, which is Belinda's Barnyard Buddies. This is located on the opposite side of the Murrissippi River, in the barn building, which usually isn't really used for anything. Here you can hang out with all the cute and adorable country animals, from goats and sheep to pigs, donkeys and cows. This is a really nice spot. I think this is a fantastic addition to the event, and it seemed relatively busy. I think they did a really good job at kind of highlighting where it actually is in the park, and now with the full circuit back, it was a lot easier for people to actually get to and be aware of, because if you're going around on the circuit, you kind of see it as you pass by, which is intriguing and makes you want to go and check it out. I love seeing the goats particularly. I think goats are amazing. There's also a few photo opportunities here. You can pay to have photos with chicks, as in chickens, not women. And you can also pay to get some food to feed the animals as well. I definitely recommend visiting Belinda's Barnyard Buddies. The Dreamworld Country Fair also has a few entertainment options which are exclusive to the event. During the event, you can see lots of roaming characters around the park. This is always a highlight when I visit parks lately, is trying to get clips or photos of the characters. It's like when I was a kid, there was a game called Pokemon Snap, where you go around like a safari in Pokemon and you have to take pictures of all the Pokemon. I love it. It feels like that. I want to go and get a cool photo of every character that's at the park. There's also a few shows that take place throughout the day. I only watched 2 of the shows because a couple of them were actually ones that I experienced on my visit last year, and this is no shade at all to the performers, this is probably more a reflection of myself, but those shows kind of revolve heavily around crowd interaction and audience participation and volunteers. And last year on my visit, the park was really quiet. There was basically no one there when these shows were taking place. So when I sat down to watch the shows, we were some of the only guests there, and of course, because the shows revolve around audience participation, the performers had to come up and try and get some of our group to volunteer, and we're all quite introverted people, not the most extroverted, outgoing people in the world, so this was a little bit awkward. In the end, none of us actually went up to volunteer, which I felt kind of bad about for the performers. Yeah, it made me sort of space out. I kind of disassociated because it's way out of my comfort zone, so I didn't watch these shows again this year. I stayed clear of that. Luckily, the park was much busier, so hopefully the performers were able to find some guests to do what they needed for the show. But I did enjoy a couple of the other shows that didn't involve audience participation, which are always a highlight. I think the performers at Dreamworld are very talented, and I always feel like they punch really above their weight compared to some of the other parks here in Australia, which have facilities and things that are much more catered to shows like this. One of Movie World's biggest selling points would be its characters and performances, because I feel like the main street there is really catered towards having spontaneous performances and things like that, because it's one long line and there's sidewalks on either side. So if performers need to be in the middle of the pathway, people can kind of spread out on either side. I find that Dreamworld at this stage doesn't really have the best facilities maybe for what they can do. That Main Street area, it's not quite laid out for what they have in mind. I feel like the last show of the day involves like a line dancing sort of lesson, which is a lot of fun. It's a really great idea, and there were a lot of performers. I was super impressed with that, but it did feel a little bit awkward because people are kind of walking right through the show, and staff are like pushing food bins and things around like in the background of the show, walking past the performers and stuff, because there's no real other option. They can't like walk around them as such. Yeah, I feel like that's definitely something that could be a little bit improved. It's a bit of a logistical problem because it does get very hot here on the Gold Coast, and you kind of need something undercover. They do have a great spot in front of the Dreamworld Globe, which is a really cool stage, and they have used this in the past for a lot of performances. Given that a lot of the shows involve Kenny and Belinda costume characters and things, and performers having to wear multiple layers of clothing for their costumes and things, it would get really hot and uncomfortable for them. So for a large part of the year, they can't really do anything up there. So yeah, once again, no shade to the performers. Everyone's really incredible at what they do, very talented. I just wish that they had maybe a better space to fully reach their potential. So what did I think of the Dreamworld Country Fair? Overall, I was very impressed with this event for this year, especially considering my experience last year, which kind of soured my taste a little bit, and I was sort of anticipating something similar. So when I arrived and saw how many changes there were, I was very impressed. I think it's a great event, and it's definitely something that you should check out for sure. I highly recommend getting the dining pass and enjoying a few of the food and drink options, watching the shows and performances, exploring the park, visiting the animals, going on the train. Definitely a fun family day out. I feel like this will be a big hit with the school holidays going on. I'm also adding a new segment to the YumYum report going forward, where I'll be featuring viewer highlights, moments that you've recorded at visits to theme parks around the world. They don't have to be Australian parks, just any interesting things that you've spotted at a park. Feel free to send me an email, a message on Instagram or Facebook. I'm gathering a bunch of clips, and once I have enough footage, I'll add this new segment, and it'll be really fun to share people's highlights and cool experiences from theme parks. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the YumYum Report from the Dreamworld Country Fair. Feel free to leave a like, a friendly comment, or subscribe for more. And YouTube has also launched a new feature called the Hype button, which supposedly helps videos on smaller channels get noticed in the algorithm more. So feel free to press the Hype button as well, and hopefully it'll help the channel grow a little bit more. A big thank you to the members and sponsors of Team YumYum for supporting my content. Thank you to the Team YumYum members: Randall, Maloney's Coasters, Kai on the Internet, Oogie Boogie, Theme Park, Ogre, Jordan Casey, Johnny Boy 175, The Downy Cat, Mika, Carrie Jekin, Smath Mode the Awesome, Movies Like Everyone, and Aston. And a very special thank you to the sponsors: Koala75, Audrey Allen, Senpai's JP Blue Dog, Senpai's JP Red Dog, Wayne Hewitt, Lee Donald, SWStevie1, The Kez, and Mr. WG. Thank you so much again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.